Hey guys, Marsingin here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today I wanted to talk about some speculation for more stuff that we could actually see coming to the game on Friday morning, or late Thursday evening, depending on where you are in the US, of course. And that is talking about not only this banner coming out, but obviously the EZA'S for the Gotenks and the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So when this Int Gotenks EZA came out on JP, it also brought with it a bunch of sub EZAs. Now, not from this Gotenks EZA in particular, but each one was a sub EZA from existing Extreme Z battles that were then available like basically the same time that this Int Gotenks came out. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying that we could potentially get these for global, and Proton was actually in the stream earlier. Shout out to the GOAT. Does all the data download threads. One of the things where we often find out, thanks to the data, that an EZA is upcoming from a character isn't even down to the simple sort of thing of like the EZA stuff actually being in the files after a data download. But there's a thing that we've mentioned in the past that's happened a couple of times where part of the code gets updated, where it's basically checking for the character's super attack level, essentially so that it gives them the visual effect. When you do your supers, obviously with units that have an EZA, the numbers have like the extra sort of like lightning effect around them and stuff like that. So something gets added into the script to check the unit's super attack level. And in the past, whenever we've seen this appear in the data, it has then meant that that unit got an EZA not long afterwards, right? It happened for the STRUI Goku on JP, just before his EZA got announced as part of the countdown to the anniversary. So that is apparently in the files for some or all of the sub-EZA characters that came out with this Int Gotenks. So the possibility is that once we have the maintenance that we know has obviously been announced here, and begins late on, well, it begins in the early hours of Friday morning for me, so afternoon / late evening depending on where you are in the US, and then the maintenance runs right up until basically 15 minutes before the Gotenks EZA, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku EZA, and the World Tournament all begin on global. So chances are, once this maintenance is actually over, all of that information will then of course be in the files with the download that comes with the maintenance. So that is something that we will see for sure when it comes to first thing Friday morning. So one of the things that you can think about obviously now is getting the medals ahead of time ready for these EZAs, because if we take a look at the units and their sub EZAs, the AGL Gotenks is definitely a big one, because this guy, he's pretty decent. He's not like a super crazy like best EZA TUR or anything like that, but he can be pretty solid, and he's a time limit support unit. So obviously the Gotenkses that are getting their EZAs, the Int Gotenks, and of course the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks getting his Super EZA. We don't know exactly when that will be, of course, for global. I'm hoping it will be soon, because it came out on JP a little bit after the Int Gotenks EZA, and for us, the Int Gotenks EZA is coming out only a little bit behind JP. So I talked about this in a video that went up yesterday, but the Tech Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks EZA could come out next week even, potentially. So this guy being a time limit support is good, especially, you know, units like Kefla is on time limit as well, has her EZA on global and is very, very powerful. So this guy's EZA, pretty cool. He awakens with the, or I should say awakens, he EZAs with the medals from the physical Gotenks EZA. All of these sub EZAs are the same, and just like a normal EZA, you need 12 bronze medals, 20 silver, 12 gold, and 12 rainbow. Those are available from the physical Gotenks EZA. The weakness is youth. I think once you get down to the bottom, yeah, you need to be using like STR, Super STR, and Super Tech. But that team has had a lot of buffs since this last EZA, including units like Bulma, so replaying these stages will be pretty easy. This one is not available in-game at the moment, so you do have to go through the Portal of Memories and use your keys, but you can do that to get the medals for Gotenks. We started doing that on the stream earlier today. Then we have the Super Saiyan 2 Great Saiyaman. Unfortunately, his EZA pretty disappointing, especially without all of the buffs that like Defenders of Justice has been getting with the Topo team. His EZA, a little bit disappointing, sadly, but he EZAs with the medals from the Int Ultimate Gohan EZA. So his is Majin Buu Saga. His EZA came out years ago, so even though that team hasn't exactly had major buffs on global yet, of course, not having like the Vegito and Buhan EZAs and stuff like that, the team that you could use for this would be significantly better than it was back then. You basically have to be using physical, super or extreme, but we have things like the Super Vegito EZA, that Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 Goku, units that were not available at the time, so we'll make this very, very easy to get those medals for Gohan. Sadly, like I say, he's not very good, so a little bit disappointing, especially because I've always liked this unit because the art is definitely cool. So the fact that his EZA is disappointing is a little bit of a shame, but unfortunately it is what it is. Then of course we have the physical Ribrienne, who ended up being way better than anyone expected. We talked about this on the podcast last week, the fact that like she seems like a unit that stands testament to some units are so good or so bad, it really seems like they don't test them well enough before they release, because physical Ribrienne is super, super good. And of course you can run her with the Tech LR Ribrienne, Rosie and Kakunsa, and that rotation can obviously be very powerful. She can get up to some absolutely insane levels of defense. If you're picking up Rainbow Orbs, which she can create herself, you can get 88% chance to dodge, which is kind of crazy. So she is definitely very, 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 very good. And she EZAs with medals from the physical MVP 17 EZA, which is a bit strange. Universe Survival Saga's obviously gotten some decent buffs, like the TOP androids and stuff like that since this EZA first came out. This EZA is not that old, though, to be fair. And you do need to use, I guess you can't really use AGL or INT for damage, so the Tournament of Power androids not going to be doing damage, but they obviously provide a ton of support to that team. And then you have units like the, you know, Blue Kaioken Goku, MVP 17 himself with his EZA. Like, this will be very easy to blow through these stages and get the medals for Ribrienne. All three of these Extreme Z battles that we've talked about so far, all of these are only available currently with keys. But then the other one that's very interesting to think about, if all of these sub EZAs are going to drop on global, is the other one is the Int Topo, who obviously got his EZA to go along with and be a partner for the new physical Dokkan Fest Topo. So if his EZA drops on global now, which I mean, it makes sense because it's from the same batch as the other units, but this unit kind of drops and is kind of useless, right? Because we don't have a viable Universe 11 team, or really even a particularly viable special pose team, even though some of these other EZAs of course are all on, well, all this batch of EZAs are all on special pose, but that doesn't make it a good enough standalone team. Obviously Int Gotenk's getting his EZA, he is a special pose leader, so I mean, I guess you could make a relatively decent special pose team, but it's interesting to think about this Topo kind of getting his EZA super early, but before the release of physical Topo, just makes him considerably worse in value as he is on JP, right, when his EZA was announced. Because his EZA coming out on JP as part of the Topo celebration was obviously really good, because you want him to run with the physical Topo. But he awakens, or EZAs, from the medals from the Topo and Dispo EZA. This one is actually available at the moment. So this one you will replay the stages with stamina, which is a little bit annoying. I prefer it when you can use the keys, because those keys are obviously not used for anything else. So I usually end up having quite a lot of them, because it's very rare that we replay these EZAs with keys. But this one for the Dispo and Topo is currently available at the moment. The weakness again is Universe Survival Saga. In terms of the typing, funnily enough, it's int and physical again, get the reduction, but this team has had significant enough buffs from when this EZA came out. I mean, this is an Extreme Z battle from 2020 or 2021 for global, so the kind of team that you can build now will absolutely dominate this stage. I'm actually just loading mine up here on my phone just so I can see what the team I was using to get to. I got to like stage 110. Yeah, I was using the Universe 6 team led by Hit, and that was before, like, you know, KO and Caulifla, the STR and Tech ones had their EZAs, before Dokkan Fest KO had even released. Honestly, the KO team is probably the best way to just smash through these, because then you can have EZA Kefla on there, Tech Caulifla for the dodging. It's guaranteed because it's a Universe Survival Saga enemy anyway. So yeah, very, very easy to burst through these. Now, the one bit of speculation that I did think was very interesting that Proton mentioned in the stream earlier today is obviously we're trying to build towards the sync. And we talked about in the video yesterday how by them dropping a bunch of the content that was part of the Toppo celebration, they're taking away from the Toppo celebration and making it worse when it comes out on global. And I've seen a few people speculate that we won't even get a Toppo celebration and he'll just drop as part of something else, or maybe we get like the big crazy sync banner or something like that. But something that we could see in the data download after the maintenance for Friday, Proton was saying potentially there could be a big surprise and we just get physical Toppo stuff in the data and he actually drops next week on global, which would be kind of crazy because if he came out, let's say Monday, last year Golden Week started on the 28th, which would be next Sunday. I don't think they'll drop it on a Sunday. I feel like they'd probably wait till the Monday the 29th, but that means we could see physical Toppo come out on global on Monday the 22nd of April, and then Golden Week starts on the 29th, which is kind of crazy. I mean, Toppo, whilst he is like probably the second best TUR in the game, like if he did drop next week, a week before Golden Week, and obviously right now, like in the middle of the 50% support EZA'S and the, you know, the Goku and Harudegan banners are still up at the moment. Like this guy he would be an absolute super duper easy skip, right? If he dropped on global next week. I know he is very good. And I know there are definitely people that would be interested in getting him. But I would say like he would be a very, very easy skip, I think, in terms of just, you know, in value for your stones and everything. So it'd be kind of interesting because this guy dropping would be good as part of the sync plan, right? Because it catches us up closer. We know that the games want to be fully synced basically by the worldwide celebration. So if Toppo dropped early on JP, on global, it would be certainly a big step towards that. It would be very weird for them to have dropped a bunch of the content from his celebration before him and then drop him. But I suppose in terms of like the sync being the main goal, it would make a lot of sense for him to come out on global early. Whether it is literally next week kind of early, I don't know. But by the time we get to the post-maintenance on Friday morning, if he was going to drop like next week, that information should be in the files once that maintenance is over. So I guess we will have to wait and see. But yeah, certainly an interesting development if that was to be the case, right? So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you think we will see all the sub EZA'S? Do you think we will even see Toppo? Even if we aren't going to get the sub EZA'S, I wanted to make this video about pre-farming these medals because obviously you can do this right now. And then if we don't get all of the sub EZA'S for these guys coming out on Friday, they will be coming out at some point, and then you will have the medals to do their EZA'S pre-farmed already anyway. So whilst there's nothing to do in the game at the moment, because no new content comes out on global until Friday, it's something to do like with your stamina or your EZA keys. If you don't have anything else to do in the game, then obviously you can go ahead and pre-farm these medals. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you think we will see this stuff on Friday? Do you think Toppo will come to global early? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.